Alrighty, how's it going everybody? 1 of 1 back again. And if you take a look at my very, very sad looking wall right now, we have ripped everything off of it and we've added just this little tiny section right here. So I had an idea and I don't know if it's going to work, but I would like to try to see if I can make it work. So, if the issue, because I'm thinking about, so like if the rocket works with a dial, like when you're setting the activate via the dial, right? If that works because you're constantly changing the value, then I wondered if maybe the reason why it wasn't working for me is because on the logic units, because I'm turning them on, they're automatically just going to be on that number. Like there's no like switching, right? So the thought was, what if I just made a memory thing that I can update with whatever, mode activation I need to put on there. And I have this little LED just kind of reading off of this, and that's just feeding that. But if I write whatever I need to here, and then have this write whatever this is, because this is just always going to be writing, then as this changes, that will create the change in the activation, which should make the rocket do its thing. It's my thought anyways. So this is basically like a logic version of a dial. And instead of setting the dial manually, you can actually set the memory, which is acting as the dial, via logic. And then if this thing is constantly changing, like the dial would be constantly changing whenever you flip it to something new, then that should do the same thing when you're writing it to the automation module. It's my thought. No idea if that's going to work, but the reason why I enclose this is because this is going to be kind of like an important thing for me to keep an eye on. Okay. Now, I have to rebuild pretty much everything that I had before, so that's fun. I do want to keep these separate, so you can see I redid all of the wiring here. So this, which feeds all the LEDs, is just by itself. Like it does nothing else, it just feeds the LEDs, right? So, now we have to start thinking about other things, I suppose. So, I want to sort of make the logic a little bit simpler, a little less checks, and more just kind of assuming that it's going to work. Because I think that'll probably work better. So what we're going to do is this block here will be our little set for all of our memories. So we're just going to set that, just put all of those there. I don't know if I'm going to need all of them. No clue. But we'll just put them there anyways. And then we'll just connect everything up. And then get that connected over to here where it'll go into other things, right? So I could put like another little wall piece around here so I know that this is specifically for memory, and then all of the rocket controls I can hopefully fit in here. We'll see how that works. Okay, so I suppose the first thing I should probably do is connect up the LEDs, and I want to go. Well, hang on. Before I do that, let me see what I have for room here. Because what I want to do is have this go and kind of do, like this, right? So we have a clear separation between all of the different things. That's the idea anyways. And then I have to see what kind of, spacing I'm going to need just to make this work. All right, so if we assume that we're not going to be going up into orbit or wherever the rocket's going without having fuel in there, then I think I can remove the check to compare the mode to 0, so that way it doesn't set the mode to 5. So this is going to be like the return home type thing. So what I want to do instead is I have to set one of these equal to my fuel max value, right? So let me do that, and we'll label this thing. So this is going to be memory fuel max, or sorry, fuel min is what that's got to be. Okay, and then we will set this to 1,000. Okay. So What we need to do now is we need to run a compare, or no, sorry, that would be a less than. So, no, that is a compare, right? Yeah. So, logic mirror, oh no, these are not the right ones. I need these ones. Okay, unary. So, unary math unit, I think, is where you take just one output and or one input and you get like an output or something. So your not function is in here, in case you need it. Gate, no. Math, no. Compare. Okay, so I think that's what I need. And then we'll go ahead and put in all of the cabling to make sure this thing is nice and fed. So that can go there. That can go there, just for now. And then that can go there, and then this thing has to go here. Okay. So what do we want to compare in here? So first thing we want to do is compare our fuel input. So that is going to be logic rater fuel. So we're going to be checking that. So logic rater fuel. And then we're going to see if that is less than our memory for our fuel. Did I pass it? Why is this not? Oh, because it's not connected. Duh. Okay. I'm like, why am I not seeing any of the memories here? There we go. Okay, so now let's find it again. Memory fuel min. Okay. So, this apparently has no power. Okay. But if I just kind of follow this down, just temporarily, just to make sure that it has some power, and I bring that over to here, and I need the wire cutters. There we go. Okay. Now, here's the problem. This is going to put out a 1. Right? Because our fuel currently is less than that. But I don't think that's an issue. So, because once again, we're not going to send it up into orbit without having fuel in it, right? So by the time we're actually launched, we should have fuel, which means that I should be able to just write this to our memory mode thing. Let's get this thing connected. That can go there. There, and then we'll put that over here. There we go. Okay. All right. So this is going to take in from our logic compare fuel. So that has to be renamed. Logic compare fuel. Confirm. Logic writer. Fuel load, I guess. Okay, I don't think I'm going to be referencing that, so that's just to kind of tell me like what it's doing. And actually that's going to send a 5, so return, confirm. Okay. Alright, so that is going to take in our compare, logic compare fuel, and it's going to write out to our memory LED memory mode. Oh, that has to write a 5. Okay, so this is going to be a bit more complicated because this has to take in from a 5 over here somewhere to write that to the activate, which means that this is going to have to be turned on by something else, or this is going to have to turn on the next one, which will then read that. Okay. Is there... I feel like there's another thing that we have. Batch writer, logic mirror, slot reader, batch reader, reagent reader, batch slot reader, logic switch. No. Okay, so I don't have anything for that. Is it in... I feel like the select unit, right? I don't think that writes, though. That's the thing. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna have to go back with the second logic writer. I need this thing. Okay. So that can go there and there. There and there. Okay. Logic writer. Okay. I'm trying to think of like the naming convention that I should use to make this like easy to understand in the future if I ever have to debug this thing. So logic writer compare fuel. And then this one will be logic writer low fuel return. Okay, so there's that, and then this is going to be mode 5. I could just put it in there as a 5. I think that'll be fine. Okay. So there's that, and then I just have to set this. There we go. Okay, so logic memory 5 is... Oh, I should probably get rid of the logic and just call it memory 5. Okay. There we go. Alright. And I think I just got a message on my phone, so I will be right back. No, we're good. No messages. Alright, so... Alright, so now we have to set this thing so that way it reads... Well, it does what we want it to do. So we want this thing to turn this on, right? Because, once again, we have to have this input over here be our memory 5. Memory 5. And then we're going to write that out to our memory for our mode, so we're going to write it down there. Nope. Memory 5, memory fuel mid, memory mode. Okay. And then we're going to write that to the setting. So that will then update this to a 5, which will then update that as well. And then, because we're changing it from whatever it was before to the 5, I'm hoping that the automation module, which is going to be powered off of that, will recognize that there's a change and then do its update accordingly. So now we have to take in our compare, and then instead of going to... Why is it going to LED memory mode? It's weird. We need to go to logic writer low fuel return. Logic writer low fuel return. And now we'll write to on. Okay, so right now that wrote, well, because our fuel is currently low, it wrote a 5 to here, which then did update and wrote to there. So normally that would then be read by this. It would see the change, because I think this was on either 0 or 1 before. And then hopefully that will recognize it sort of like a dial, and it'll hopefully work. So, I don't know, man. But I do want to clean this up a little bit. So that can go there, that can go there. Okay, good to go. So now we know that that's kind of doing its own thing, which will be fine. Okay. So that is our return. Okay. So now we're going to need to figure out our minables, right? So we have to compare this against 4, I think. Logic rate or fuel is less than, okay, yeah. Okay, so now we need to check to see if our, I don't know if this is gonna work, actually. Okay, okay. So this is going to compare our mode here, right? And we need to write in a 4 over here. Okay, so this is going to be memory 4, confirm. I'm also going to need a memory 2, confirm. All right. So we'll put that back, and okay, so this is going to be looking at the mode. Logic compare, logic memory, logic reader fuel, logic reader minables, logic reader mode. We're going to see if that equals our memory input, but we have to connect this side up. Okay, so there's that. Alright, now this needs to be connected to our logic memory, or just regular memory. Okay, so that's going to be checked against memory 4. And then, okay, so right now current mode is 0, so that's not actually going to do anything. Okay, so if I'm going to have to do another one of these things for like the minables. I don't know. I probably am, let's be honest. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, now that we're going to know if that is equal, and then if it is equal, I want it to activate the miners. Okay, so that's going to send out a 1 if it equals, which I should then be able to write directly to the miner saying, you know, turn on, right? Now, I wonder if that's even going to work. Because once again, I mean, this is, if I keep this on all the time, like it'll switch between like a 0 and a 1. At least it should anyways. So this is going to read in, which I have to relabel. Okay, so this is going to be compare mode 4, confirm, and then this is going to be mine. Now, that's probably not going to work, let's be honest, but we'll give it a try. Also, that needs to be connected on the bottom here. Go, because compare units needed on all 4 sides. Alright, so there we go. So, what? Oh, because I forgot to set the mode, or, sorry, this thing. So it's checking to see if it's equal to 0, but that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, now this should be reading a 0, good. And then, okay, so now we're going to take in our input from our, actually, hang on a sec. Wait, is this the output? No, that's data input. Okay, so no, the output is down there. So that would have to go that way. That's just a mess. Okay, never mind. So this is logic compare mode 4. Okay, And then we're going to write this out to our mining module, and we're going to tell it to activate. And we'll just leave that on permanently. So that way, as this thing changes, as soon as our mode like changes from something other than 4, okay. Now, I need to check the minables, and if the minables equals 0, then I need to tell it to move. Okay, so, oh, and I need a drink again real quick. Let's go take care of that. Battery, yeah, might as well change it. Good to go. And good to go. There we go. And we'll eat some food too. Alright. Air? Why not? Switch that out as well. Alright, so there's that. Okay. Alright, so back to what I was doing. We're going to need another compare. So that'll be in here. And then we have to compare our minables to 0. I think that'll work. We will certainly find out. Okay, that can go there. Do I want to run this kind of over this side again? Okay, so there's that. Now this is going to be our logic compare minables. Minables, confirm. All right, so now that we got that, we have to set this thing up. Okay, so this is going to be looking at our logic reader for minables. Logic reader fuel, minables, okay. And we're going to see if that equals, I'm going to need a mem0 up here. So we've got mem4, mem5, fuel min, fuel 2, and then this one is going to be mem0. Memory 0, confirm. All right. So minables is equal to memory 0. There we go. Okay, so that puts out a 1. Now that is going to tell us to move but here's the thing. There are currently no minables because we are docked, right? So I don't want this to write a 2, which is the move command, unless our mode is not 0. So that's going to require another compare. Well, then again, well, okay, hang on. I'm going to go with, probably a bad idea, I'm going to go with the assumption that it will just work. And I'm not going to try to check for every little thing, if I can help it. So we're going to need 2 more of these. Okay, so that's going to do the miner, but this one has to turn this one on, and this one is going to tell that to do something. Okay. Yeah, because we have to write a 2 here. So, let's get everything connected up again. That goes there. This goes here, and here, and here. And I'm out of cable. Go, more cable. All right, so there's that. And I think I have room for one more down here if I need it, which, yeah, I'm gonna need it in order to actually get this thing to launch. Okay. All right, so now we just need to set this. Okay, so minables 0. So we're gonna take in from our compare, which is powered down here. That's the data output, I should say. Okay. All right, let's try this again. So, compare fuel, compare minables. Okay. And then we're going to write this out to this logic writer. So I have to rename these things. Okay, logic writer, compare minables. Confirm, and this is move. Confirm. All right. So there's that. All right, so that logic compare minables, we're gonna put this out to writer for move. There we go, and we're gonna write out to the on. So, you know, that just turns that on automatically. But once again, as soon as I set this, it's going to throw a 2 in here. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work, but we'll figure something out. I suppose it all depends on, like, how this thing overwrites, right? It's gonna be a thing. Okay, so logic writer compare minables. Wait, no. That's not what we need. We need memory 2, which is, I think, that one. Yeah, because we have to write memory 2. Memory 0, memory 2. And we're gonna write that to our memory for our mode. And then we're going to put that into the setting, which did not write. Okay, interesting. That is taking from memory 2. Memory 2 is currently set at 0. Okay, so that did overwrite. Okay. So our memory 0 is set, our memory 2 is set, our memory 5 is set, our memory 4 is set, and our memory fuel min is also set. Okay. Progress, I think, maybe, hopefully. Okay, so now I need something to set this to 1, so that way I can, wait, no, this is for mode, right, but this has to be written to activate. Yeah, okay. I think that's, yeah, that's looking from here. Okay, yeah, so that will write, okay. So I think that's all set up correctly. All right, now what I need is the thing that tells everything to launch. So that's gonna have to write a 1 to activate, but I should be able to write that from a button. So let me see if I can get this thing to work the way I want it to. Okay, so we'll get rid of that. That's going to disconnect all of that stuff, which is fine. Then I need one of these. Logic writer. Okay, then I need to connect it. Alright. So that's got to go this way, and then that way, and then that way. And we'll do it like that. Okay. So this is our launch button, right? So we're going to pull from that, but I have to reconnect all of this stuff. And I feel like a good place to do that would be straight up or straight down. I think that's probably a good idea. So we'll get rid of this, get rid of that. Sorry. Wow, that just went flying. Okay. So this needs to be one of these. That also needs to be one of those. That also needs to be one of those. And then this can just go straight up. And then this needs to be one of these. And then we'll connect down here, and then we'll have all of our connections in place. Okay, so that should turn all that back on, and then I just need to connect these up. And to go here, there we go. And then I kind of want to clean this one up too. There we go. Did that break anything? I don't think that broke anything. Okay. All right, so now we get to adjust this thing. So this is going to take in from our button from launch. It's going to write out to our memory, memory mode, and it's going to write that to setting. We're going to turn that on. Now that's going to write a 0. Ooh, I don't. Ooh, is that going to be a problem? If that's current, if that's always writing a 0, that could be a problem. Okay, so I'm going to throw in another writer down here. And I'm going to have this one turn this one on, so that way I'm not always writing a 0. So let's rename. Okay, so logic writer button launch confirm, and then logic writer launch confirm. Okay. Now I could set up another memory thing. In fact, I think I will. And I'm going to just put that as a 1. So we'll grab this real quick. Throw a memory 1 up here. And then that can go back there. This can go over here. And there. There we go. Okay, now this we have to set to A1. There we go. And then we have to label it. Memory, if I can type memory 1. Confirm. Okay. And that is currently at A1, so that is good. What did I just do? Okay. Here we go. Okay, so that is currently set to A1. Okay. Now we have to get this thing connected. That can go there. That can go there and there. That can go there and there. Okay, good to go. All right, so that is writing to the launch, turning it on. so we need to connect that to logic writer launch. It's going to be down. Okay, it's going to write to the logic writer launch. That's going to turn it on. When this is set, this is going to pull in from mem0. Sorry, mem1. That's going to write this out to mem mode. That's going to put that into the setting. Okay. So now when I hit the button, that should turn this on, which will then take the 1 in from the memory and write that out to here. So that way it doesn't keep writing out a 0. We'll see if that works. And that's move, and then this is mine, and then that one up there is return. Okay. So if everything else breaks, I'll be able to turn this on and cycle this to send it back home. And hopefully, that'll all work. We will see. Okay, so let's fill it up with some fuel. And then we should see that turn off once we get over 1,000. Yep, turned off, good to go. Now with that turned off, that should still be at a 0, okay. Oh, I think I'm low on fuel. Whenever you're like, especially if you're using a turbo pump like I am, if that ever slows down, you need to check to make sure that you have enough fuel. All right, so how are we doing? Oh, we are very low. Okay, so we'll turn this on. Oh, I left you on. Whoops, my bad. Actually, as long as I'm in here, I might as well like empty this thing, right?
Waste tank critical.
Okay, so there's that. We can turn these on now. Now that should be bringing all of this down. And then what do we have in here currently? We have oxygen, we have nitrogen, and we have 0%. 2 moles, okay. Mostly nitrogen, a little bit of carbon dioxide. Okay, so that's all fine. How are we doing? We have no hydrogen left. Okay, so let me throw in some of these volatiles, make sure that's on. There we go, that should crush. Throwing in some hydrogen in here. There we go, so there's our volatiles. That should give us a little bit, good. So that will help us making our fuel. It's very, very slow, but it's working. Oh man, do we have like a turbo mixer? Is that like a thing? Probably not, right? Turbo gas mixer, we do not. Liquid rocket engine, what is that? Huh. Anyways, okay, so we have volatiles are going down, right? Yeah. How are you doing? You're at 31%, 79%. Okay, so that's pretty good. How are you guys doing? 81% and 40%. That's pretty good. You guys are pretty good. You're really good. Carbon dioxide is also really good. Oxygen also really, really good. Okay. Good to go. So there's nothing in here that can make a fuel and explode. So I'm gonna throw in some more of these volatiles, get that crushed up. And I think like the more pressure we have in this pipe, like the faster it'll get like cycled through here. I could be wrong. I don't know for sure. But I kind of wish we had like a turbo something something for these things too, so that way they would go through this faster. But you know, it is what it is, right? Should I like... I was wondering if I should pressurize the room again. It's probably a good idea. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so we got 1,040 something moles of volatiles in there, which is then going into there. How are we doing with our fuel situation? 770 kilopascals. It's not amazing, but it's not the worst thing in the world either. So we'll throw in another volatile into here. Pressure goes up. Temperature is 287 kelvins. Okay, so that's colder than we necessarily need, but that's good because that means that the volatiles won't spontaneously explode. And even if the pressure did go like way up, I still have this thing like checking for 30,000 kPa. As soon as we hit that, it's just going to vent out. So I'm not really too worried about that, to be honest. Okay, so that's doing a thing. We're now mostly volatiles in there. Okay, that's doing its thing. Okay, so I'll just let that run, I guess. And then we'll take what we can out of the fuel to fuel up the rocket. All right. So that'll be fine. All right. How am I doing on water's okay? All right, so let's get this fueled up a little bit more. Yeah, I think I had like 3 megapascals in there before for fuel, which is why this thing filled up so quickly. But now that I've got less than that, it's a bit more eh. Okay, so that'll be good for now. 3,000 should be enough to test this thing. All right, so first test. Well, we can set that thing to a 0. So this is currently writing to our automation module, and it's writing out to the activate. It's pulling in from this memory right here, right? So as we update this, because that's constantly pulling off of that, it should register like changes. So I'm hoping that will make this whole thing work. I guess the only thing we can do is launch it. Okay, so that worked. That's good. Okay, so this is currently writing to our mode, or at least it should be writing to our mode. Taking in memory mode, writing out to, oh, I don't have anything. Do I need anything doing that? I don't know. Okay. Oh, hey, and it did the auto whatever mining thing. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so something is obviously working. Oh my goodness. So it got up there, it started mining right away, didn't even have to push anything, which is amazing. And I guess we just kind of wait to see what it does. I don't know. I mean, we seem to be doing okay so far. Just got to remember that's my return writer right there. So if anything does go wrong, I just go up there, cycle that, and it should send it back right away. Should, in quotation marks, of course. Okay. Okay, so we did make it to 4 and 0, and this is what is supposed to tell us to move. Now, it did not write the 2 into here. Okay, so that is an issue. So I have to figure out why that's doing that, because if this is not writing to this, then we have a different issue. I mean, this should be writing, right? It's off. I want to write a 2, right? So it's taking in memory 2, right? So its current state is 2. We're writing this out to here. So is there anything else holding this at a state of 1? I mean, the button is here, right? What if I were to flip this over? That writes it to a state of 1. Okay, if I turn this on, does that... No, that's not updating the memory. Okay. Huh. That's weird. Okay, so then that means that this probably isn't going to send it back. So now I'm having the issue where I can't update this. That is very strange. Okay, so I just want to see if it will send it back. It probably won't. But, I mean, it's small waste of fuel. It should be fine, right? Okay, so now we get to see if the mode does get updated. Because it's currently writing a 1, right? So I need to be able to update this thing. That's the issue. Okay, so that turned on. It did not update. So I need to cycle this thing very quickly. Whoa, 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 let me... Oh! Oh shit. Right. J. Oh wait, no, it did send. Okay. Okay, so... What? Huh. Okay, so what did I hit that, right? I hit the setting, and that what made it toggle? But I mean, that's the only thing that I can send to here. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay, so that'll turn off once we hit over 1,000. Okay, so that did what it was supposed to do. This is all very confusing for me. Yeah, I'll let that fill up while I get some water. I mean, I'm happy that the mining thing seemed to work, right? Like it just started mining right away, but it did not, for some reason it didn't let me update the memory, which is weird. So unless something is like actively overwriting the memory. I don't think I have anything like that. Okay. All right, we are at 3,600. That should be enough fuel for now. Okay. So do I need to have another writer in here writing the mode to the memory? I don't know. Okay, so that's writing to the mine. So that's working. At least it seems to be working. But it's like these things aren't updating as they should, I guess. But I don't. We'll try it again. Okay, so 3,700. Okay, so that didn't even update this either. Why? Button, launch, okay, right. Turned that on. Okay, let's try it again. There we go. Okay, so I hit that, which kind of like reset, I guess, whatever it was supposed to do. I don't know. So that's interesting. Okay, so we have arrived, but it has not started mining. That's going to be this thing, right? So do I set this back to activate? So now it's going back to doing the same thing that it was doing before, where it wasn't actually turning on. And I've got this thing wired up like in a completely different way. I mean, still trying to accomplish the same thing, but it's just... Okay, what are you doing? Okay, you're writing to this. You should not be writing to that. State of 1. Well, no, it should be writing to that. Wait, no, hold on. Okay, so that writes, okay. But we're still here at this, but if I reset this, then it sets that to 2, which then moves us, okay, to our next location. And then we've arrived, and that, okay, so it is mining now. This is confusing. So this is comparing mode 4, right? So if the logic reader for mode equals memory 4, okay, so if the mode equals 4, then mine, okay. Okay, but now here's the thing. So now this is back, right? And it's trying to set out a 2, but it's not doing it, right? Wait, no, it did send out a 2. Okay, so this is sent out a 2, but it's not actually... This thing did not actually send it out. Why? Okay, let's put this back over here onto activate. So now it sends out a 2. And then the mining is currently at a 0. Then it registers that, which then, okay, so that, this flipping on and off seems to work for that. Yeah, so we are mining currently. Okay, so that should have written a 2 here, which it did, but that 2 is not getting moved over to the mode. So I wonder if I need like another writer to make this update from the mode of the automated thing, automated rocket. So we'll just set this back over to here, which should move me back over to there. And then once we arrive, it should start mining again, hopefully, without me needing to reset anything. Okay, yeah, so the mining seems to be working now. So that's good. Okay, so we're at a 2 right now. And then once we hit 1,000 fuel, I believe it's this, no, this one, no, that one will turn on. And then we'll see if it actually writes. Okay, so we're looking for that green light, and we're looking for that to change to a 5. And we're also looking for our fuel to drop below 1,000, which should be shortly. Okay, so there we go, that turned on. It did not update this. But if I do that, then it does update, and then it sends that back, and then we go. Okay, so there's something weird here, right? So this apparently doesn't matter if it's... So there's the rocket coming back. So I mean, at least we're not losing the rocket, so that's good. But it seems like turning this on and off isn't actually making it send something out. So I think changing the input is what makes that thing change. So, I mean, but I don't think I can change the input on a logic writer. Logic writer. Yeah, no, I mean, there's... What is this force write? Forces logic writer devices to rewrite value? Okay. Can this change to that? It can. So I wonder if I do a force rate instead of turning it on and off, I wonder if that would work. And then that might send out... Oh, no, 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 sir, sir, sir. Can you please come back? Why did you take off, sir? That was terrifying. Apparently we have to be very, very careful about how we do this. No, what? No, what are you doing? Stop. Oh my goodness. No, come back. I'm gonna lose the rocket. Okay, rocket's already lost. Okay, so obviously I messed something up here. Okay, so we're basically just gonna have to rebuild the entire rocket. Okay, so force right is not the solution. What the hell? I mean, it forced it to write, so that's good, but at the same time, like, eesh. Okay, so I need to think about this. And we're at like an hour in the video, so I mean, we have made progress. I believe that we've made solid progress. However, yeah, so this, I'm gonna have to add in another compare unit to make sure that the mode is not 0 when it does the whole force thing here, because I think that is probably what was sending it off. Man, that is weird. But I mean, force right, I think that's the ticket. Which means that I have to be very, very careful about when I do that. Okay, but I think that'll be good enough for this video. Like I said, we have made progress. It's a little terrifying. I did lose the rocket, so I'll have to rebuild the whole thing from scratch, which, you know, fine, I've done it before. Yeah, that's just wild. So it's a force right issue. So it's like this thing does not just, like when you turn this on and off, like it doesn't cause it to write as you would normally expect, right? So like when it's off, it should not be putting anything out, right? It should just be a 0 because you've got no power going into it. And as soon as you turn it on, it should write whatever's in, you know, your input to your output. But it doesn't do that, right? So you have to force it to write. But when you're forcing it to write, it will literally force it to write. So I have to put in some extra protections there. But progress, maybe, sort of. I think I might need to expand this out another level and make another thing so I have more room in here. Because controlling the force rate, I think, is going to be interesting. Yeah, that's going to be crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I have a lot to think about, so I'm going to do that. Sorry, hiccups. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you did, hope you'll join me for the next one. But until then, I have a lot to think about. Have a good one.